Venezuela has more generals than NATO, and that's exactly why the military can't rebel. It's what nobody outside Venezuela seems to understand very well. The military can't overthrow Nicolas Maduro because the military is the regime. I keep seeing comments like, well, that's for Venezuelans to solve, or doesn't the army support Maduro? And the answer is no. A very, very small part of the country actually supports him. The vast majority of the country wants him out, including the military. So if that's true, why doesn't the Venezuelan army just rise up to defend the people? There are many reasons for that, but let's start with the most important one. The military literally can't rise up against him, and that's not an accident. When people ask why the Venezuelan military doesn't just overthrow Maduro, what they don't realize is that the Venezuelan armed forces were deliberately engineered to be incapable of rebellion. Venezuela has over 2,000 generals. Now, for anyone who knows even a little bit about military structure, that number is completely and absolutely insane. It's more generals than the United States, than the UK, than France, than Turkey. In fact, it's more generals than the entire NATO alliance combined. The US, with 10 times the personnel, has a legal limit of about 650 generals. In wartime, this would be catastrophic. Military hierarchies are shaped like pyramids, a broad base of soldiers, a few officers, and a tiny group of generals at the top. That's how you maintain order, discipline, and fast decision-making. In Venezuela, the hierarchy isn't a pyramid. It's a pencil. There's one man on top, Nicolas Maduro, and a massive blob of generals directly beneath him. Imagine being at war and having to give an urgent order of some kind. 2,000 generals have to interpret and execute it. It just doesn't work. Chaos would erupt instantly. So why on earth is Venezuela's military structured like this? Because it wasn't a mistake. It was a strategy. A strategy for dictatorial control. You can't coordinate a coup when everyone outranks everyone else. In a normal military, say with 3 generals, if 2 turn against the government, that's enough for a successful coup. Now imagine 2,000 generals. To overthrow Maduro, you wouldn't need 2 or 3 generals. You'd need 1,000 just to get half. And then you need to have another 1,000 that you deal with. That's not a military, that's a shattering of power. It's like trying to mutiny on a ship where the captain made everyone else captain too. Maduro accelerated this process when he took office. He promoted hundreds of officers to generals overnight. But he didn't just promote them, he bought them. Generals control ports, customs, food imports, state companies, even PDVSA, the state oil company. These are multi-million-dollar corruption machines. Rebelling doesn't mean risking your career. It means losing your fortune and going to prison. Meanwhile, Venezuela's intelligence agencies, the SEBIN and the DGCIM, exist primarily to survey the military itself. They track which officers steal what, who talks to whom, every suspicious meeting, every phone call, every moment of discontent. So if an officer ever looks disloyal, the regime doesn't have to invent charges. They already have the evidence. Inside the Venezuelan armed forces, the rule is very simple. You're loyal or you're in jail. And the military isn't the only armed group inside the country. Pro-government paramilitaries known as colectivos, counterintelligence units, special police forces, they all spy on each other. No officer commands enough troops to take power. No conspiracy can ever stay secret, and no one can move without being watched. So when people ask, why don't the soldiers just rise up? The answer is quite simple. They can't. The system was designed to make rebellion impossible. Today, Venezuela's military wasn't built to defend the nation. It was built to defend the Maduro regime. So if you were a military officer in this system, would you risk your life to overthrow the regime? In my next video, I explain why civilians can't overthrow the regime either. Follow for part 2.